Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kolo again. So in today's video guys, we'll be configuring router on stick. So this is a method of configuring inter-VLAN network, but we'll be using a router, switch and some devices PC. We'll be using 3 PCs for this topology. So first of all guys, as you can see on this video, we'll be using one interface. Be using this interface here to connect our router with our switch. But if you remember very well, in our previous video we were using multiple interfaces here, and each interface was assigned to a specific VLAN network. So let me just remind you about it. So this was our previous topology, and you can see we were implementing multiple interfaces. So this interface here was the left one was connected to the VLAN or this subnet with VLAN 10, and the other one was being connected to the VLAN 20, which is on the right side. So let's focus on our today's video. So this will be what we'll be configuring. We want our router to be able to send traffic or send this data packet received from one point to another, to broadcast it and being received with other PCs on the network. So I'll be using some protocol. Today you'll hear some new method new names, so such as termination or VLAN IDs. We'll be using something like ARP, broadcast enable. This will work in a way that whenever this router receive any packet from any of these devices, it will broadcast to the nearest, it will broadcast it to its interfaces. Therefore the one that will receive that packets has some basic information such as the IP address from the source and to the destination. Therefore, if it receive and that packet happen to belong to that PC, then it will send feedback to PC1. So this is what will be configured. So let's try to ping some of the PC here and see if they can be able to communicate. So let's come to PC3 and we'll pin. Let's try to pin this one. So let's try to pin this PC2 here. First of all, we'll pin this gateway. So let's pin this gateway 192.168.2.1. Sorry, I forgot to write ping. So ping, be pinging that one. So as you can see, we are getting reply. This means that this PC3 here is able to communicate with PC1. So this is the gateway. Now let's pin the exact PC. So we'll pin the exact PC, which is the .2. You can see we have a request timeout, but the other packets, this packet always lost. This is because this PC tried to find the path to use, or to find where this PC that we are trying to pin here, this PC, where is it? So during this process of finding the path, the relevant or the assigned path to be used, always this packet get lost. So but others achieve to reach the destination. So if we try to pin it once more, right now, since we have already figured out the path to be used, there will be no data, or there will be no packet loss anymore. So let's come to PC1 and do the same. We'll pin, first of all, let's pin this interface here 3.1. let's pin the gateway. So destination is unreachable for this one. So first of all, let's pin it back and see. So right now you can see is pinning. So this gateway here, we're able to pin this gateway. So let's now pin the actual PC. So as you can see is pinning. So this tells us the system is well configured. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do so. So guys, this is our topology. So I've already configured or assigned the IP addresses to our PC. So you can see I've already assigned the IP addresses. This is our IP addresses. This is our default subnet mask, and this is our gateway. So I have already configured the PCs so that I can save time. So I also ensure you have configured your PCs. So the next thing, we'll go ahead, we'll configure our switch with you guys. So this is the steps. These are steps to configure our switch. So we'll follow these steps to make sure that we configure all these interfaces within our switch. So let's go ahead and configure our switch. So write this command system and system name. Let's name our switch. We'll name it switch 1. Name it switch 1. So it's not a must. You can simply decide not even to name it. So secondly, we have to specify the number of VLAN that we have within our topology. So you can see we have VLAN 10, 20 and 30. So we have 3 VLANs. So we'll specify them. So VLAN, specify VLAN batch, we have 10, 20 and we have 30. So hit enter. Next we'll go to each interface here. We'll visit each interface. Let's start with this interface here, then this, then we'll get back to this interface here. Then this should be, name this as point A, get back to it. So let's configure this interface Ethernet 001. So specify, so interface Ethernet 0/0/1. Then within that interface, when we are configure VLAN or Inter-VLAN, whenever you configure an interface that is between switch and a PC, we use an link type access. This is because this is the only PC that communicate with this switch at this moment. This is the only interface, so there's no need of using the trunk interface, because this is the PCs that will only communicate with this interface here. So we'll use the port, then port link type. The link type will be access. Then the next thing we need to specify, we need to specify this VLAN here. So we will specify this, or we will configure this VLAN, the VLAN 10 within our switch. So port default VLAN 10. We are setting our VLAN 10 to this PC here, to this switch I mean. So we are done with that. Let's get back to this interface here, Ethernet 2. So quit, then go to interface 2. Then within the interface 2, let's specify the port. Link type still is access, since this PC will only communicate with this switch within this interface. So then let's assign our default to be 20. And lastly, let's configure the last VLAN, so VLAN 30. So quit, once more specify the interface. The interface is 3. Then the port link type is access. Then specify the default VLAN. For this one it will be 30. So specify the VLAN 30 and hit enter, and you're good to go. So let's get back to this point A. So this point A will configure it differently. This is because this switch here will receive packets, or it has been connected to 3 sub network, or you can say it has been connected to 3 different VLAN networks. Therefore all these VLAN, whenever they send request, all these will be pushed to this switch here. Therefore this type of link that connect the switch and the router should using a link type of trunk trunk enable to push multiple VLAN within the same interface. So we'll be using, or we'll configure using a link type trunk. So let's get back here. Let's quit and specify the interface. The interface Giga Ethernet 0/0/1. This interface here is 0/0/1. Then we'll specify the port. So port link type it will be trunk. Hit enter. Then the next thing we need to assign all these. We need to allow pass for all these VLAN. So came back here, port trunk allow pass. We allow pass of both VLAN 10, 20 and 30. Hit enter, and we are done with that part. So the next thing, let's get back and configure now our router. If you try to pin right now, if you try to pin this PC, still there will be no feedback. This is because we haven't configured our router yet. So we need to configure our router. So if we try to pin something here, it should have a request, or it have a destination unreachable. This is because the purpose of this router is to forward these data packets that are either sent or received to other interfaces. Whenever it receives a data packet from one PC, so it has to broadcast it to the available connected interfaces. So let's configure our router. So let's come here and let's name our router. It's optional. You can decide even not to name it, but I do love naming. In case you have different routers, it will be easy for you to know which one to configure. So the next thing we need to do, we will follow this. We'll be following these instructions here. I have write these instructions for you. You can understand easily. So first of all, we specify the interface. Then we create a sub interface within our router. So we have to create a sub interface within our router. So specify the interface, which is Giga Ethernet 0/0/0. So you can see this is our interface here, 0/0/0. Then the next thing, dot 10. At this point, the dot 10, you can specify any of your choice. You can using the dot 10, the dot 100, dot 1000, any number of your choice. But I'm naming the dot 10 so that it will be easy for you to know this dot 10 mean it belong to VLAN 10. If you're using a dot 20, meaning it belong to VLAN 20, and so on. So we'll create a dot 10. Then after that, we hit enter. Now we have created a sub interface within our interface. So at this point, we'll need to assign our gateway. So we'll be assigning this gateway to this sub interface here. So let's assign our gateway IP address 192.168.2.1. This is our interface with a subnet mask of 24. You hit enter. Then after you have assigned your IP addresses, the next thing you need to do, you need to go ahead and specify this IP address of this gateway belong to which VLAN. So we'll go ahead and specify. Sorry, we have assigned the gateway of 2 instead of this one here. If you have noticed that you have made a mistake, you are supposed to assign this gateway here. So let's undo these changes. So let's undo this change, because we have already specified that this sub interface was belong to this, dot 10 was belong to this, so we have to change that. So undo. And then once you're done with that, now we'll specify the correct gateway. So let's wait and specify. Now we'll specify the correct gateway and you hit enter. Now we are good. Now the next thing we need to do, we now need to assign this VLAN. We need to specify this VLAN. So we do that by using the .1q. Then you specify the termination, then the VLAN ID. So use the .q, .1q, specify the termination, then specify the VLAN ID. For this instance, it should be 10, and you hit enter. Then the next thing we need to do, we need to specify, or we need to enable the broadcast. Once again, I have said that once this router receives any packet from any of these VLAN or this subnet, it has to broadcast. This is because it is not aware of this interfaces here that has been connected within the switch. So it need to broadcast this packet received here from either of any of these three subnet. So it has to broadcast it to the available connected interfaces. So once each or one of these PC receive that, or once they receive these packets, so these packets contain some basic information such as the route, such as the source IP addresses, the destination IP addresses. So if the destination IP matches with the PC or the device that has received that broadcast message or broadcast packet, so it will send back feedback notifying that I have received this information from this PC. So this is that is how it happens. So we have to enable that. We have to enable the broadcast. So we'll go ahead and enable our broadcast. So go ahead and write this command arp broadcast enable, and once you are done with that, you hit enter, and now we are good to go. So we'll repeat the same procedure for this VLAN 10 and VLAN for this VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. So let's quit. Now specify the interface. For this interface here, now we'll create the .20. This means it belongs to VLAN 20. You hit enter. Now you need to assign the IP address. So assign the IP address here. You need to assign the IP address. So for this time it will be 2.1. This will be the gateway for VLAN 20. You hit enter. The third thing also, you specify now the VLAN ID. For this one it will be 20. So come here and specify the VLAN ID 20. Hit enter. Now you should enable broadcast. You should broadcast enable. Now broadcast enable. Yeah, hit enter and you are good to go. Now lastly, let's configure our last interface. Let's create a sub interface. For this it will be .30. Hit enter. Specify the IP address. For this it will be 3 and you hit enter. So this is the gateway for the VLAN 30. Next you specify the VLAN, which is now 30. Specify the VLAN. Then you enable the broadcast. So we enable the broadcast and now we are good to go. Now enable. So we have finished configure our router. Now let's pin each of this PC and see if we can able to get reply before this destination one unreachable. Now let's try out. First we'll have to pin our gateways. So we'll go ahead and pin this gateway first. So let's pin the gateway and you can see we are able to get reply for this time, meaning we have well configured our Inter-VLAN using sub interface. So let's go ahead and ping the actual device. Also, you can see we are able to get reply. So let's try to do the same for this PC3. We'll ping PC3. So we'll ping PC2, and we'll start by pinging the gateway 168.2.1. You can see we are still able to get replies from this gateway here. Now let's ping the actual device. Also, you can see we are able to get reply from this PC, meaning it can be able to communicate with PC3 or the subnet or the VLAN 3. Now let's do that for our last subnet, which is PC2, and see if they can able to communicate with any of these two. So we'll ping also this, ping 192.168.1.1. So you can see we're able to get reply for this gateway here. Also we'll ping our actual device and see also we can still also to get reply. So this was for today, guys. So thanks for your time. Remember to subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.